Phoenix Point, Terror from the Void. We've just come back from a mission against one of the strongest Pandora types, the Scylla, and we've earned ourselves a good meal. We're looking at tonight's menu of seafood, deciding what we want to eat. And I think today we're going to have some Arthurian maybe? That one looks a little bit crispy. That one looks like it's got some good flesh on it. I think we will have an Arthurian for dinner. Phoenix Point is well known for its wide range of delicacies, although it is top secret how we acquire them. And as our culinary masters turn that Arthurian into something edible, we will vivisect the Acheron that we captured in the last mission. We wanted to capture the Scylla, we didn't have the ability to do that, and she did escape. So this Scylla is on the loose. We are in possession of a somewhat capable interceptor force, 3 Helios, all fitted with railguns and armor. The Manufactorum is working furiously on all of our orders. We're going to stack up another Helios for a total of 4, 2 fighter wings. Because our larders are so full, we are going to trade some of this Pandoran meat to the Cmdr folks. I'm not sure if they enjoy Pandoran meat. This New Jericho Haven has an elite trooper that we can hire, a technician. We make heavy use of vehicles, so a technician would be quite useful to 1 or 2 of our teams. Because the Helios was empty, the new recruit got aboard the Helios, and now we have to fly her back to Phoenix, Australia for some training. She is only level 1, and our new Scarab is ready for action. That will go aboard our Thunderbird, owned by the mechanized infantry. There was a crazy demand for that special dish that we were selling, and so I think it's time for some calamari. Our new Scarab is just waiting on its weapon and its stealth shield, and then we're ready to go. We need to buy the deployment bay. We've detected a powerful, unusual waveform from the Siren's brain which can influence human thought, especially if a mind is weakened and in a receptive state. Complementary mutations such as viral injection or psychic scream are simply designed to make the victim's mind more vulnerable to total mind control. As yet, there are no counters to the mind control, but we can research the Pandoran telepathic nodule, a small nodule located in the brain of every single Pandoran creature. And we'll take the Chiron vivisection as well, find out what makes those things tick. It might not seem like it, but we're actually in a very dire state at the moment because the Pandorans are rapidly evolving. They have a lot of bases around that we haven't found, and they have an infested haven. So we're going to send our best teams, fire support and salvage and recovery, to clear out this infested haven. This is not something we have seen before, as the team arrive at the former Anu town of Katapa. We just need to wait for the second Manticore. The stealth Scarab is still being repaired, so we are going to take the fire support Scarab, and we will need to bring Warden, and Warhound unfortunately will need to stay behind. Director, Repo reporting. We are at Katapa. Are you seeing this? The green shimmering. I feel strange. I feel like I've seen this before. Repo, snap out of it. We have a mission to do. So says Takashi Sato. Okay, now, there is something there. A critter of unimaginable form. An amorphous figure. Attaching itself to the colony itself. We are going to use fire and fury to deal with this new threat. Being an infested haven, it means that the haven inhabitants are still here. Unfortunately, they no longer have control of their actions. All working for the good of this thing inside the building. Now I'm trying to figure out how we're going to assault this. It's not a great way into this building, just up the main stairs. There are no ladders up the side of the building. And it looks like the only way to the rooftop is via stairwells inside the building. We have mist sentinels everywhere, so if we take too long, the surrounding area will be infested with mist. We have haven inhabitants to deal with. There is one there, with a mind fragger stuck to his head, as well as a fairly large contingent of Pandorans, which will continue to arrive on the map. So there is a large amount of time pressure on this mission, although it isn't immediately obvious. It will quickly become a battle of attrition if we don't seize the initiative and move fast. Takeshi and Omar both have jump packs, so they will need to get onto the roof of the building. And there are some hazards that will complicate that matter. The building is usually filled with all types of Pandoran eggs, and the minute you set foot in it, they awaken.
Ready, willing, and able.
Which can mean that you have a literal swarm of mindfraggers coming out of the building, searching for new faces to hug. Omar up onto the rooftop of this small building. He's spotted a hostile.
Confirming target.
Through the skylight of the building. Where is he? Oop, he's just out of view here. So we need to step off the glass. And let's see if we can't shoot the mindfragger off the head of this Haven Defender through the skylight. Make sure we don't hit the back of the skull. We want the mindfragger. Unfortunately, we have missed. We blasted out the skylight. Large shards of glass raining down on this mind-controlled foe. There's not much I can do with Omar now. He had his chance.
Ready.
Sophia is pretty mobile. We could get up here and quick shot into the face. No other hostiles sighted except for that. Wait, there's something there. I really hope that's an Arthurian.
Eyes peeled.
I really hope it's not a siren. Let's go with the shotgun. It's a heavily armored head, so it doesn't do much damage. Now, Warden. We're going to need you to provide fire support alongside the Scarab the whole mission. We have extra grenades. And we have quite a few flying critters, so we need to keep her away from that. She doesn't have the armor you would expect from a heavy trooper.
Watch this.
She's focused on stealth and accuracy. Takeshi, flying up to block this ladder, so that whatever it is can't come up here and chomp on them. I'm going to move Warden over here, so she's going to forego her action this turn.
Receiving. On my way.
And Repo is going to keep her company until we can get some effective fire on this building. We'll set up an overwatch here to try and stop a Myrmidon charge. But there's a high possibility they'll just fly over it. We have the ability to quick shot. So I'm going to overwatch here in case whatever it wants, whatever comes up here, we want to shoot it. They might actually burst through that window and attack the two, Sophia and that defender inside the building. There are a lot of Myrmidons. We might have got pretty lucky on the Pandoran dice rolls here. No sign of any Acherons. Oh, it's a mindfragger, and it managed to snag Sophia. That's the least worst thing it could have been, I think. She is surrounded by friendlies, and we have the Haven Defender who can repay the favor. Seems like all the defenders are berserkers at the moment too, no priests. Got an acid Myrmidon. We can't afford for the fire support Scarab to take too much fire. It's very lightly armored. We cannot run that over or it will shower the Scarab in acid. And there's the Acheron that I was saying wasn't around. So we have quite a few hostiles converging on our position. The most dangerous of which is this acid myrmidon here. We need to disable it, but not kill it, so that it runs away with its nasty package of acid. It could blow up somewhere else. Warden has that assault rifle proficiency, so that makes her good as a hybrid assault.
I'll be right there.
Repo brings different weapons to every mission. He has his Redemptor shotgun and a Phoenix rifle today.
Ready on target.
Alright, it is disabled. We can leave it alone. We have a second Myrmidon here, but this one's just a standard one, so it's quite easy to kill. We might just blast it with the Redemptor shotgun.
Taking aim. Threat.
Excellent. Now, we need to remove the squishy thing off of Sophia's face. We need to remove the fragger off of the face of that berserker before we get too close with the hammer. And we have an acid myrmidon. So we're going to shotgun blast this guy and hope he's got a strong head. Yeah, it's not worth it. This thing has too much armor at the moment. Oh no, he had that really terrible helmet. And we nearly killed him. So he is Myrmidon food next turn. We can't heal him. Omar could heal him, but then he'd be standing face to face with a full action Myrmidon. We also still need to take the fragger off of the face of Sophia. Try to paralyze this thing, minimize its actions. It's going to lose one action next turn. Takeshi, you need to help out Sophia. We should be able to shoot around the corner, yes. Take a little bit more care with our lats here. Not enough damage, we'll have to try again. I could have used the spiky claw on his arm, I guess.
Never give up.
Let's come over here and use it on the Myrmidon. Oh no, you can't do it diagonally. That's annoying. Four actions on that. Standing next to an enemy, you'd be able to stack up 80 bleeding. It's pretty cool. It's really good against worms. We need to enter stability stance and get some rockets out. We need to breach the roof of this building. But first, I'm going to get rid of these guys. Sometimes when you use explosives, there's a chance to blast the mind fragger off and leave the person okay. So let's see if we can do that.
Too much.
We almost did that until that last rocket landed, and this guy is a bloody mess on the floor. Somehow still alive. Don't like those Tritons with the massive sniper rifles. Just sprayed us with pepper spray and acid. Return fire from Warden, finding a mark on the Acheron's hide. And that Myrmidon wants a taste of that bloody pile that used to be a defender. A second defender down. The defenders can be really useful in these missions because you do get quite a few of them. But I'm not saving their lives, am I? I'm kind of making a mess of it. He's like a time bomb now. He'll just go and explode somewhere. And the pile of goo finally submits to its wounds.
Moving.
We're going to capture this acid one. One more hit, and it's ours.
I'm getting there.
Alright, we've got a free med kit here. And we'll give it to Omar. Omar brought lots of spare rockets. Let's come over here. That one's dangerous. I think we're going to have to use close range rockets again. We've got 3 potential hits here. Oh, yes. The Myrmidon exploded and it showered the Acheron in poison. Nice added bonus there. Let's get some grenades out. Big booms from Warden. We have a defender here. We could try and blast the Mindfragger off his face. Looks like a pretty good chance to do it up the stairs. If we did it at the top of the stairs, perhaps it would only hit the head. Let's try. Oh, we only damaged him. Not the Mindfragger. And let's get rid of this fire. We don't want any Overwatch.
Enemy hit.
And we are going to have to mount up there. I think that'll be the safest way to attack the thing that lurks within.
Let's try this.
Using Onslaught to give a 3rd grenade shot to Warden. And let's really damage this thing on the roof. All arms, all legs. It is a regenerating one. But he can't make the bleeding go away. He will die in 2 turns. So the fire support scarab will take some more fire itself.
Standing by.
We could jetpack over here, use the laser pistol to shoot the Mindfragger off that defender. Move a little closer or just try twice. Let's move closer. It should fill the scope. There we go. Beautiful. So we have lost about half of our potential allies.
Heading out.
Sophia is going to try and put some decent damage into the husk of this Acheron. Torso would be more effective.
Enemy hit.
Repo's standing in the mist. He had an issue with panicking last turn.
That taste.
Last mission versus the Scylla. Him and Warden. Warden panicked for about 3 turns after fighting the Scylla. So I will need to work on her willpower if I want her to be able to use abilities. She stood in the mist and then got hit by a virus rifle and it was all over. 3 turns. The mist is creeping towards the center of the map. Alright, we have woken up the worms, I think. Yeah, we have. Alright, whatever eggs are inside that building just activated. And there can be up to 10 or 12 or so. So we would need to get some troops up onto those stairs. Set up some overwatches before the Mindfraggers and worms come screaming out the windows and doors. That worm on the top floor is going to be almost impossible to hit with gunfire. So we might have to try it. We'll take out the Triton, try and blow out the wall. Hopefully it hits the worm. No such luck. It's a waste of a grenade. He was going to bleed out this turn anyway. But let's breach this building. There's something else there. So let's hit it. Because I want the rockets to fall down here and hit the creature that's inside. 3 rocket barrage. Ooh, yes. We've blasted a hole with the first rocket, and the second and third managed to make it inside the building. But the thing inside doesn't take much damage from explosions. Because curiously, it doesn't have body parts. Okay, we need to get up here and hope there are no eggs that we haven't discovered yet. The rooftop appears to be safe. Made a tidy little hole for us to peek down and shoot it. Sophia, I'm going to get her to come up to the stairs. And I might use this assault to make sure this Umbra goes away. That Myrmidon is no issue. We have a fireworm and an acid worm to contend with. He doesn't need healing, but I'm expecting some things to attack him. So overwatch that worm.
I'm here.
Repo can advance now. I think Warden should be okay by
No
herself.
choice but to keep going.
I will feed her another action as we make our way past.
Okay.
Try and take out the worm in the window.
Guess it's my turn.
Actually, no, I would smooth everyone up. That was a waste of onslaught and willpower, but it's okay. I could run up here, shoot a worm, run away.
I'm on the move. Zooming in.
I think Bash would have killed it too. And we want to leave the building again.
On my way.
Sophia, I think we might need an overwatch. Pretty dangerous angle. I'll try and keep the cone off of that friendly troop. Repo, you can move up.
Position.
Fire support. Scarab has one more salvo before it needs to reload. More mist. The acid worm exploding. For whatever reason. Something else exploded inside the building. A mind fragger! Sophie clapping it with a shotgun. Another one! And the Anno catching it mid-air as it was about to clasp his face. Satisfying overwatches all around. I don't really know why that acid worm exploded, but I'll take it. We'll bash this. Or shoot it. Shoot it. Make it dead. Come outside. I am tempting fate by allowing time for reinforcements to come. Let's get Omar up onto the other side of the roof. Or maybe we should get him where he can just shoot straight down. Hunker down. Because I just remembered I have to fire the Scarab still. This is going to be danger close, Omar. Let's aim. Ooh, we might be able to just thread the needle here. Oh, we did! No hits on Omar, fortunately. 2 out of 3, making it into the building and hitting whatever is in within. Send Sophia to have a look and then run away. More worms, fire worms. or do I send in our berserker friend? He's an assault, but because he's got a creepy head,
Ready.
I confuse them for berserkers.
Resting up a bit.
Recover. Recover.
What are we doing?
Heal up. Yeah, we're just going to take this turn just to get ready. The creature inside has this area of effect attack, and that's what that explosion was last turn. And anything in the building usually gets caned by it. Blows off limbs, all sorts of stuff. So I prefer to just use heavies with their high armor. Takeshi is a little bit light on the armor department. Trying to get this grenade through the skylight to kill the fireworm.
Let's try this.
Let's just throw it into the building. Shred all the armor this thing has, and then we'll just alpha strike it. Sophia has full actions, but there's not much I want to do with her. 2 turns until we get rockets back. We need to reload next turn. With our new technician, we won't use the technician for fire support team because, as far as I'm aware, a rocket vehicle can only fire once per turn. So remote control is less useful for a vehicle that has to stay still to fire and can only fire once a turn. So I may cross-class Warden to Technician so that she can repair, but doesn't necessarily need remote control. The mechanized infantry team that now have the Scarab that's going to be fitted with a cannon, they might benefit from a technician and remote control. And when I build a spider for capturing Pandorans, a technician is absolutely essential for that role. Alright, let's pick up, reload, squish that horrible venomous thing, and let's commence firing grenades through this little window.
Taking action.
Oh, there's an Arthur in here. Let's get him. As I said, reinforcements will continue to come. Unless I stay on top of them, they will overwhelm us. Took off the arm. That thing is neutralized. Follow up with a second grenade through the eye of the needle. The arc is not being friendly, but we will find it. Oh, wait. There's this little pig. There's a pixel here somewhere I can shoot. There. I might have to take the floor. The splash should hit the creature as well. It is one with the building. Oh no. No luck there. A bit of scatter. But just providing some splash damage to damage our rocket launcher on Omar's back. Another hit like that and it's destroyed. Let's take a step forward and see what we're dealing with. There's that worm.
Looks dangerous.
Alright. This is the thing. Despite all the rockets that we've got through here, not much damage. And that is due to the fact that it is one giant blob attached to the building. It's almost like an Umbra. Or oily, gooey creature. And we missed. We need to move away because it's going to blast its... whatever it does. It's like a shockwave. Takeshi, you need to jump down. Take care. Oh, the worm can't get there because the floor's blown out. So Omar is actually pretty safe from that worm, but it will want to drop down to the floor below and attack Sophia and her gang. Takeshi could go down the stairwell into the room. think that's just asking for trouble. Can't get a line of sight from this side. Oh, there's a little skylight there we can shoot him from. We will move there next turn, and we can shoot it in the back of the...
I'm getting there.
what appears to be head. Repo. He's taking it pretty easy, just keeping an eye on Warden, making sure that she has the willpower to continue. The Haven defenders are going to take back their home. This guy doesn't have quick aim, unfortunately, but the corruption node body will take a fair amount of damage from the Anu shotgun. There is no armor. Let's onslaught with him and let him shoot again. I'll move here and use free aim to find the target. Oh no, the bookshelf. Wait, we can squeeze a shot through here. 240 damage. Now, Sophia could run in and shoot twice with quick aim. Well, yeah, we got rid of all the armor. Yeah, we'll take some glory for Sophia. Quick aim. If she can't kill it, then Takeshi will through the skylight. Yeah, way less damage. The shotgun is the answer. Quick aim, and it will be down, and that will be our first infested haven. Cleansed. There were a few survivors here and there. The couple of soldiers who were lucky to get mind fragged during the initial attack, but also civilians who were not fully taken by the creature. They came out of it as if waking from a nightmare. It was then that I understood what Alistair meant when he joked that we were waging a war for our place in the new food chain. The Pandorans didn't want to exterminate us. That would have been too merciful. They wanted us for something else. Well, that is certainly terror from the void. We destroyed the monstrosity that had taken over the inhabitants of the haven, delivering them from a fate worse than death. Around 800 of them were fortunate enough to survive. As your team searches for survivors and salvage in Katapa, they come across a former clinic. It is full of horrors. Mutilated bodies litter the floor, and the walls are covered with incomprehensible symbols scrawled in thick, dark blood. One of the exam tables draws the attention of Takeshi. It looks like an altar in a temple. Is this an offering? Holy shit, it's alive! We have recovered living armor. So that's a different way of getting the living armor. In vanilla, you had to do some... I'm going to say they were just a waste of time, really. So that's an interesting way to get the armor now. You had to do missions and go and run through infested maps to pick up a chest and then escape. They weren't totally great missions. But if that's the only way to get the living weapons, then why wouldn't I want the Pandorans to infest havens? So that... I guess that would give me some incentive to not rush off to save every haven that I can. Alright, the stealth scarab going back aboard salvage and recovery. It is repaired. The research queue is very full at the moment. We're going to add acid worm autopsy to it, as well as the node corruption autopsy. We have the equivalent of 3 new research stations coming online in the next... Well, how long is it? I can't see it on the list because the list of buildings is so high. But we have more research facilities coming, and so that will drastically speed up that research queue. Let's try the experimental treatment on Nestbuster Gang. They've built up some delirium. Our coverage area is so high now that our teams are very scattered, so we need to hurry up and get the mechanized infantry out so that they can take care of at least one of our coverage areas. I'm thinking that they will be more of a garrison type troop complement. I don't think I'm going to push objective missions with them, but I think they'll be good for haven defense because they have an anti-armor style weapon on their scarab, and I think that would be really good for taking on Scyllars, or at least Chirons and things like that. It does pack a punch. Alright, the Nestbusters had to return to Forward Operating Base Alaska after they assisted with that base defense. Their armadillo is fully repaired, so they're going to continue exploring the United States. I'm tempted to make more food. The difficulty of the behemoth continues to scale up, and I'm looking to have about 6 interceptors to deal with it. I'm going to build one that has a slightly different loadout, and I'm thinking I might try the Gadfly RC-6, which is a rocket pod. Fires 6 times for 110 damage each rocket with a 65% chance to hit. I'm going to put 2 of the Gadflies and an Oracle, which will turn it from whatever guidance mode the rockets have to psychic rockets, and we'll see how effective that is at taking down flyers. Fort Harshaw is under attack by quite a strong Pandoran complement, and I am pretty sure that I promised the people of Fort Harshaw that we would protect them and that we would side with New Jericho, and they gave us a lot of technology and materials. I think that was the haven, so I am actually going to make an effort to save Fort Harshaw. We're sending the Nestbusters. We'll see how they go. It's very strong attack, 27 attack points. The mechanized infantry are following up on one of Syme's leads.
In his essays, my great-grandfather recounts the story of the ill-fated Chinling Bashan expedition of 1915 and the journal of Lei Meng, the leader of the mission, who found evidence of a forgotten proto-civilization deep below the ground. There is also mention of James Dawson, a British photographer who stole most of the precious samples recovered by the team. What became of Dawson has always been a mystery, but now I know the mundane truth. He died here in the mountains, forgotten and alone. This proto-civilization, could it hold the key to defeating the Pandora virus? They say history repeats itself. Has all of this happened before?
Ooh. We have uncovered enough information to initiate the study into the Pandora virus. The coordinates in Syme's notes have led our operatives to a small abandoned camp high up in the mountains. A cave contains the corpse of a Caucasian male, hard to identify at first as it is overgrown with yellow, sickly-looking leaves sprouting from shriveled skin. A backpack on the floor contains faded photographs and a broken specimen jar. Syme seems to have taken what he needed, but even what remains is enough to revolutionize our understanding of this planet's biological history. Pandora virus research. I have a feeling that escalates the game. Interceptors have finished their shuttle mission. Although the exact method of mutation remains unknown, it has been confirmed that the spawnery is capable of producing more advanced Pandoran creatures. What we have learned is that the specimen determines the exact nature of the batch it breeds, creating the mutations best suited for its needs. At this point, it remains unknown where the spawnery receives the biomass needed to create such vast amounts of mutations. Analyses of the spawnery show that they could potentially turn into an even larger super colony. Our Nestbusters are 6 hours away from Fort Harshaw, and I have a small suspicion I'm throwing them into the fire here. This is a very large attack on what was a well-defended haven. And if it is a Scylla, the Nestbusters will have their work cut out for them. If you want to see what happens, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, leave me a comment giving me your dedication to Phoenix Point's cause. And we will see you in the next episode. Commander Tyrael, out.
Construction complete.